campaign is starting today, and we have full house here. I have with me Boria Majumdar, Jyoti Mukherjee, and all the way from South Africa, Shubhayam Chakravarti. First of all, Shubhayam, you tell us what's the atmosphere there.
Oh, I think we can play out the video right now. Indian fans have clearly overpowered the Pakistani fans. Of course, the match has been divided because of the SA20 final that is being played at the same time. Here we can see the videos as well. You can. I'll just keep quiet now. You can see.
Shubhan, where is your India jersey?
Absolutely, you're at the ground
Ah.
and you don't have the India jersey.
No, 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 no. I won't wear an India jersey because I am still very pessimistic about the last World Cup. That's why I'm keeping it very safe. I'm playing it very safe right now. I don't want to jinx anything. I don't want to do anything wrong that goes wrong for the Indian team. So I'm playing it safe. Hopefully, if India wins today, from next match onwards, you will see me wearing a blue.
Joydita, India has won 4 out of the last 5 T20Is that they have played against Pakistan, whereas Pakistan comes into the World Cup having won just 1 out of their 6 T20Is. So, do you really think that this encounter is going to be that big?
It is a big encounter. As yesterday we were in the show, we were discussing any India-Pakistan game is a big encounter, whether it's any sport. But I still feel India does the upper hand. But like you said, the last game India-Pakistan played, Pakistan won that. So that'll be in the mind. See, another issue is that we don't play each other too often. So that's why if and when we play, which is only in ICC events, it stays with you for a long time. You can't make amends for it very quickly. Whereas with other teams you can. That's why it lingers with you, stays with you. It goes to the men's team as well. That's an additional pressure that you will need another ICC event to fix it. I still feel India are the firm favorites. Unless things really go wrong, I think India will win this game for sure. I think they're too strong in
Boria,
batting, bowling, everything. Yeah.
thank you. Boria, well, the pitches now in South Africa are
Risha,
turning.
I'll just
Yes.
sorry to interrupt. Pakistan have won the toss and have opted to bat first. That's the news coming from Newlands ground. Just right behind me, they have won the toss and have opted to bat first. So, like we saw in the match against South Africa versus Sri Lanka here in Newlands, the spinners in the second innings, Pakistan have some good spinners. They are going to come into play. Without Smriti Mandhana, I think the onus will be on the Indian middle order, especially Harmanpreet Kaur, how they tackle that spin department. Because apart from Richa Ghosh, we don't have too many power hitters. Yes, Shefali Verma is there, but apart from Richa and Shefali, there are not too many power hitters. So it will be very important how they pick up the singles and twos and keep the run rate going. It will be very important in the second innings.
Absolutely. Before we go to the second innings, the question that I was getting to, which of course Shubham referred to, Pakistan has some very strong spinners. And this pitch has assisted spinners, and now we are going to chase. So, is that a little worrying? Because remember, our batters, well,
Even if you watched that South Africa Sri Lanka game, I thought Sunil Lee's missed a trick compared to what Chamari Adapatu did. She used the spinners multiple times. If you see, there were slower bowlers being used. In this case, Nadine de Klerk bowled 4 and conceded 38 runs. I don't think someone as experienced as Harman will allow that. So I think they will be able to control Pakistan to a manageable score, because this is the problem. Shubham was right. The problem with this Indian team, lack of power hitters. Without Smriti Mandhana at the top, the batting is fragile. There's no debate. Smriti Mandhana is your best player, like a Sachin Tendulkar of the 90s. She's that much ahead. Harmanpreet Kaur, recently at least, hasn't been in the best of touch. So the batting, according to me, is a concern. Richa Ghosh 51-90, that's against Bangladesh. And I wouldn't rate that really too high. Jemima Rodriguez is inconsistent. Whatever we say has been inconsistent. So the batting sort of worries me. So you cannot put yourselves under too much pressure when you chase, because for God's sake, it's India-Pakistan. The moment the run rate, the asking rate goes beyond 7, 8, and you start to feel that pressure, I don't think India should allow that.
Shubham, coming to you, well, Zaveria Khan has mentioned in an interview which you had only sent to us that it's just a normal game for them. You are seeing the crowd there. Do you really think it's a buzz? It's the same buzz as the rest of the games?
I think yes, the home crowd, of course, home crowd will support South Africa much better. The opening match had far better crowd here, but yes, as things are going right now, we saw plenty of fans heading into the stadium just before the toss. So I'm expecting a few more to come in. During the South Africa versus Sri Lanka game, the crowd was 8,400. And I spoke to some ICC officials as well today, and they were expecting around 4,000, 5,000. And that's a great crowd for a neutral match at a venue which is far away from India and Pakistan. So it's a great thing to have. And Trisha, if you remember, even Boriada, Joydeep, the 2017 ODI World Cup, the average crowd during the matches was 500, and that's a great leap. We are seeing a leap of 1,000%, 100%. So it's a great leap to have 5,000 odd crowd here. I think the atmosphere is going to be great because as I don't know whether you can hear it or not, but I can still hear the fans chanting from the stands. It is coming right across the street. So the buzz is there, and it will all depend on if Renuka Thakur, I don't know the playing 11, I have to check if Renuka Thakur, the Indian bowlers, can give a good start, then they are going to get the entire backing of the crowd. So it's important to have early wickets because you don't want the Pakistani batters to get off to a good start.
Before I come to you, Joydipta, the Indian playing 11, as expected and reported, Smriti Mandana is not playing. Shafali Verma Yastika will be opening the batting. Jemima at number 3, Harleen, Harmanpreet, Richa, Deepti Sharma, Pooja, Radha Yadav, Rajeshwari Gaikwad, Renuka Thakur. Expected
That's
lineup.
the that's the exact playing 11 I had predicted in my preview piece today. So I think very
So have
expected.
a seat on
Yes,
our
Joydeep,
behalf.
please.
You just got it right. But coming to
Yeah,
you, Joydeep, I will get to the Indian batting, even though we are bowling first. Now that Smriti is missing and Yastika hasn't really, shown her, she's talented, but hasn't really shown that in the T20Is, and even Shafali. So is that a concern that Smriti is missing out?
yeah,
And
it
how
is a
big?
concern. Yeah, it is a concern for sure. You can't replace a player like Smriti, but then again, it is Pakistan and not Australia or in England, so that'll be the good thing. See, for me, India batting second is not such a bad thing because sometimes when I see Indian women play, I just feel when they bat first, they bat so they bat in such an aggressive manner. Sometimes in the 13th over, they are six down, seven down. So now with the target in front of them, it's not such a bad idea because that way you know how to plan it. Even in the India Australia series that happened in Bombay, every time India batted second, they seem to bat better. First up, they knowing in Australia they try to get 200, they're ending up with 130, 135. Suddenly, if you're trying to get to 150, you end up with 110. But if you bat second, then you exactly know what the target is and you plan yourself better. That's for sure.
Boryada, you have interacted a number of times with Deepti. Deepti is a superb asset for us. I think she's underrated. First with the ball, because we are bowling first, and then with the bat. How important will be someone like a Deepti Sharma in this kind of pitches?
I mean, even if you see the 2020 campaign, it was Deepti's innings against Australia that set that match up. We keep talking about Poonam Yadav, but think about Deepti's batting. That set it up for you, right? She's not been utilized properly also. The way she has been utilized in recent times, not the best. You shuffled her batting order, you pushed her down, you pushed her up. You've not given her the 4 overs until very late when you finally sort of come to terms with the fact that she's a match winner. Deepti Sharma is perhaps your most valuable player and except Smriti Mandana. Smriti Mandana, if you ask me, people who you need to pick in this game, Deepti Sharma, Smriti Mandana. Use the fans behind Shubhan Chakravarti making some noise. That's always good to hear for an India Pakistan. But Deepti Sharma is very very important.
I'll interrupt Boryada here and say, so are they part of your fantasy? Of course, Smriti can't be today, but your fantasy 11, if you can roughly say for our viewers.
Yeah. I mean,
And
there is no debate. I mean, when India is bowling, I'm going to go 7 for India because it's Pakistan, like Joydeep said. It's not Australia. It's not England. It's Pakistan 7 for India. My seven. Pretty predictable. Well, it's a Shefali, it's a Richa, it's a Deepti, it's a Renuka. Renuka, especially of Renuka, the last 8 months from the Commonwealth Games, that 4 wicket haul that we were together at Edgbaston. So it's a predictable 11. Captain, it's an interesting one. Where are you batting Deepti Sharma? So I will definitely have Deepti in a leadership role. Absolutely will. So yes, fantasy 7 for India with a captain, vice captain India, just because it's Pakistan. Maybe somebody like an all-round ability, a Nidadar or somebody like that, you could have thought about. But Deepti Sharma in a leadership role for sure.
Yes, Shradipta.
Yeah, I completely agree with Bodia. When I see the Indian women play, I sometimes feel they keep their power hitters inside the hut for too long, for just worrying about thinking that they will come at the end and do it. Now, why can't Deepti Sharma bat at 5? She gets 40 balls. Why does she have to bat 10 balls? She can play 40 balls. She can play 30 balls. If you see the Indian men's team, they'll have if the going is good, the start is good. But that's the reason why in the recent India-Australia series, we saw there was Jemima, there was Devika, all of them in the middle slowing it down when it's time to take off. It's almost like the plane is it's about to take off and the speed doesn't go down. The speed goes up. Then if you lose those 2, 3, then you can think about it. And the biggest example of this was CSK back in the day. Badrinath who pad up at number 3 and not bat match after match if the going was good. If the wickets fell in the first 3 overs, they would send him in. And he would be padding for 20 overs. So just because you have a batter at 3 or 5 or 6, this is the version where you have to be absolutely open and turn things around. There's no set pattern. And I always feel with the Indian women playing, Richa at 6, Deepti at 7, they can't come before 17 or 16. You get your part. I don't mind Richa batting at 4. Can you imagine if she bats 40 balls, what can happen?
Absolutely. Shubham, since you were there at the practice as well, Harman with the shoulder injury, her favorite shot is the sweep shot against spinners, and she will need her shots. What do you think? Is she playing at her full capacity, or is the shoulder injury still bothering her?
No, I don't think so because yesterday she started a bit slow. She took a few throwdowns, then she started to bat full tilt, and we saw the sweep shots coming. We saw a couple of scoops as well. She was attempting the reverse sweeps against the spinner, so it's looking good. And I think she took a long break, an elongated break, just to make sure that the shoulder heals completely. And Rishikesh Kanetkar yesterday was absolutely sure about it that she's fully fit, she's ready to go. And now that Smriti is not playing, as Boriada said earlier, Harmanpreet's role will be very crucial. And as Joydipda mentioned, the likes of Jemima Rodriguez, sometimes they tend to slow down the innings, and that is where Harmanpreet's role. If Shefali can give us a good start like she was doing in 2020 T20 World Cup, then nothing like that. But if things get slowed down, then I think Harman needs to come up and blow opposition away. Last time in Asia Cup, why did India lose to Pakistan? Because Harman came down at 6 or 7, if I'm not wrong. She demoted herself. She promoted the likes like other players. Even Pooja Vastrakar came ahead of Harmanpreet, and that's what India can't afford to do against Pakistan, because winning this match, winning the opening campaign is the most important thing. And if India can defeat Pakistan, then nothing like that. It's an extra motivational factor going into the tournament.
Boriada, I'll put you in a spot. Radha Yadav is playing. Hasn't been our best bowler. Forget about best. Hasn't been a good bowler. How much are we going to miss Sneh Rana, and your take on that decision? I know it's too late, but still, I mean, in pitches like this.
For God's sake, she's ranked number 6 in the ICC ranking. She's not there. I mean, you then call the rankings a joke. That's fine. But just look at Sneh Rana's record, even in that Railways match, in the senior domestic T20s. Come on, yeah. I mean, Sneh Rana in all formats. Some of the selections are baffling. Let's be candid enough and accept some of the selections are baffling. I don't want to create a controversy here because it's the start of the World Cup and all of us need to back our team. We will to full gusto. That's why all of us are doing this show. That's why Shubhan is there. But to see Sneh Rana sitting here is quite strange for me, especially when you have a Smriti Mandhana not 100%, when you have a Harmanpreet Kaur not 100%, and you've gotten a top all-rounder sitting back home, for God's sake, no. So, Radha Yadav, great fielder, perhaps your best fielder on the park, will not drop, will dive around along with Jemima Rodriguez and save a few, but in terms of her bowling, not being the best for sure.
So, would you keep Radha Yadav in your fantasy team because she's going to earn you points still?
No, but I'll go with Rajeshwari Gaikwad. I mean, Rajeshwari Gaikwad for me is a better wicket-taking option than Radha Yadav any day. And Rajeshwari Gaikwad has been has been picking wickets pretty consistently. So no, I will have Renuka. I will have Rajeshwari Gaikwad as my two bowlers for sure. So no, Radha Yadav is not in my fantasy team. I can be completely proved wrong with Radha Yadav picking four, but that's cricket.
Yeah, that's true.
Joydeep, there's
Joydipta,
something to say. Yes.
yeah,
You
Joydipta,
know,
please.
with Sneh Rana, I feel they always say we have Deepti so Sneh Rana. Where is it written that you can't have the two players with the same skill set? We've just seen
Absolutely.
a test
It's like
match.
Ashwin Jadeja and Akshar Patel. Look at what happened with the men.
Yeah, you've taken the words out of my mouth. You've just seen Akshar and Jadeja play together. Shane Warne and McGill played together for a while test matches. Can you imagine? Because they didn't have a good off spinner. So if you're good enough in women's cricket, I see this happening a lot. If Deepti is unavailable, then Sneh will play. Why can't they both play? Baffles me.
Absolutely. Shubham, Pakistan's, I think one of the main batters, because Pakistan is batting first, would be Nida Dar. I mean, she's fantastic. And she's fantastic against spin. Her average is 81.7 against spinners,
Yep.
which is
Yep.
rather scary for Indian bowlers. Your take on Nida, you have seen her practicing. How is she hitting in the nets?
Absolutely, and Nidadar was the player who was the differential in the last game in Asia Cup with a half century. So again, Nidadar, Javeria Khan, these are experienced players in that Pakistani unit, and all eyes will be on them. But especially it will be very crucial because how Deepti bowls against them. Deepti has been in scintillating form, highest wicket taker. She was in the Tri Series recently concluded Tri Series. So Deepti versus Nidadar is going to be a fascinating battle, one of the prime battles that I'm extremely looking forward to watch in this match. Of course, Renuka Thakur against their openers is going to be one, but yes, Deepti against even Rajeshwari Gaikwad against Nidadar is going to be very crucial because last time around, what Nida did, if we remember the Asia Cup match, she was sweeping. She was constantly sweeping the players. She was constantly sweeping, and what Indian bowlers did a mistake there was they didn't vary the line. They didn't vary the line, and as Joydipta had mentioned during our India versus Australia conversation live, that when a player starts sweeping, the bowlers will adjust their line and lengths according to their mindset. And if it's
And their
just a
pace.
one-trick pony
And their
and
pace.
their pace, and flight, absolutely, and that is where India, I feel, missed the trick in Asia Cup. But I guess that's a learning every player goes through, and I'm pretty sure if Nida brings up her sweep shots, her reverse sweeps, then I'm pretty sure Deepti, with the kind of form, with the kind of confidence she's having, the way she's walking around at the nets, you can feel she's a confident player. She's an informed player. She's one of the leaders in this team. I'm pretty sure Deepti is going to bring something up from her sleeve to bamboozle the Nidadar today if she brings up her sweep shots.
Well, Shubham spoke about Nida Dar, the batter. You tell me about Nida Dar, the bowler.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you see, she's played in all the leagues in the world. She's played the WBBL. She's played in every possible league. She's been at top. I mean, if you actually take a list of all-rounders in the world, perhaps the one person from Pakistan who will walk into that list is Nida. I mean, and she's been doing that for the last, at least I've been following her closely for the last 4, 5, 6 years, and she's been doing extremely well. So she is the player. That's why I said, can we have in our fantasy team her in a leadership role? Maybe yes, along with a Deepti Sharma. You want to go safe, you go Nidadar. Nidadar, the bowler. Yes, Jadika?
No, wasn't me.
Okay.
Yeah.
It will also be important how much Pakistan is able to set. If Pakistan gives themselves a decent enough total, not a 110, if they somehow get to a 140, no Mandana, and all of a sudden there will be panic. Because,
Yeah.
Anybody comes and tells me this Indian team is a good batting unit, I don't agree. I mean, Jemima Rodriguez has been around for the longest time. We have not seen her do justice to talent. I really hope this World Cup becomes Jemima Rodriguez's World Cup. Ayastika Bhatia, Jemima Rodriguez, Shafali Verma. Look at their scores and let us agree that it's not one innings out of 10. It's 5 innings out of 10, 4 innings out of 10, not 1 in 10, and all of a sudden he or she has proved herself. No. Without Smriti Mandana, you've got to take more responsibility. So Nidadar, the bowler, get to 140 India issues.
And she loves bowling
But
against India.
Yes, Joydeep Devi.
To be a good T20 team, especially women's cricket, you either have to have a lot of power hitters, which we don't have, or you have to be a good running team also, which we are not. You see, you could have either. Even whatever we've seen, we have couple of girls or women who run really well, but a couple doesn't work because when you have to
Absolutely.
put in the strike, when you need twos, if you can't hit boundaries, then you need to take a lot of twos, lot of convert singles which are not taken left of the fielder, right of the fielder. We're not a good running team, and we are waiting on two, three people. Smriti Mandana at the top, but after it's only Richard, Smriti and Shefali. Very seldom have you seen Shefali and Smriti bat out 15 overs. You'll hardly see them. So somewhere Harleen will come or Jemima will come and hopefully Harman. And as Bodia said, she's not been on fire of late. So Harman stays because she runs well, she's athletic. Her being there is very important because then Richa can come and Deepthi can come because we are neither been able to hit the big shots, neither are our two main batters batting 14 overs, nor are we running well.
Absolutely. And I think
Also,
fielding also.
another point I would like to add here. I think Indian camp is going to have WPL auction tomorrow.
Subhan, we
An
can't hear
extra
you.
quick fire 20. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah. What I was saying was India camp is going to have an extra WPL auction tomorrow. If a quick fire 20, quick fire 35, it can change the life completely. It can add 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs to your auction bids. So I think that is going to play into the minds. It's tomorrow. It's less than 24 hours. And it's going to be a historic day tomorrow. And I think it's going to be an extra motivational factor for all the players in Pakistan. If the golden chance
Absolutely, Subhan. Well,
yeah.
now that Shubhan has spoken about WPL, first of all, tomorrow we are doing a watch along
Yeah,
in the auction
from 2 o'clock on.
Keep
from
some,
2 o'clock onwards.
keep some space for me.
Absolutely. We are welcoming Joydipta right inside the
The studio.
studio.
So Joydipta is the jet setter here. He travels to Ranji for semi-finals, then decides, okay, I'll take the flight, come back. You guys available? Yes, I will be there in the studio. So Joydipta, we were actually praying. Let Bengal make the final. Let Saurashtra make the final. Let Joydipta commentate at Eden Gardens. Finishes commentary, comes home. That's the deal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Joydipta, before I end the show, Tuba Hussain of Pakistan has been very successful against right-handers. And we have a lot of right-handers, but my question is a little different. I want to know why is the T20I format so good for leg spinners?
Big two reasons. One is that they can extract turn in any wicket. You've played the game. Modi has been around for so long. When risk comes into play, you don't need a track to spin. Finger spinners need a little bit of help from the track. The leg spinners can spin it on the marble. One. Two, the range they have. Leg spin, googly, slider, top spin. And sometimes, even a normal ball, you start thinking more. I played Narendra Hirwani and I had no idea what to do. Although he told me at the end of the day, he was only bowling me 2 balls, leg spin and googly. But I thought he was bowling me 6 balls. So they're a mixed bag, they're a bag of tricks, and they get into the head of the batters. Now, this is the reason why you can turn the ball in any wicket. When the ball turns, every batsman is thinking twice. We love, especially in T20, when it's about scoring runs. It's one-day cricket, okay. 4 runs, 5 runs is okay. Which is why Rashid Khan in test matches, Rashid Khan in one-day cricket, Sunil Narayan in test matches, they were not that useful. They were okay. But when you have to get 10 runs and over, that's when the spin comes into play. You can milk them, but you can't cart them. That's
Right.
the reason.
Boryada, before I ask for your predictions, because I will, I just wanted to ask, do you think Pakistan has missed a trick batting first? Because
No, I actually think they watched South Africa versus Sri Lanka and they think setting a target more when Shmiti is not playing, they can put the Indians under pressure. If India doesn't get off to a good start, loses a couple of wickets, and all of a sudden, if you see Harman's strike rate recently, it's been 100. It's not been 130, 140. It's not been 120 also. Mostly matches have been 21 ball 20, 22 ball 23, that kind of strike rate. So I don't think Pakistan has. They will go in with spinners and try and make a difference.
predictions.
India, better team, but they've got to believe that. They've got to believe mentally that they're a better team as well. It's also in the mind. Like Australia has lost it in the mind. They were scared. That's why they were Roger.
Absolutely.
India has to believe that they can beat Pakistan. The Asia Cup was an aberration. You've got to believe the Asia Cup was an aberration, won't happen again. So what if Smriti is not playing? This is the opportunity for the rest of the girls to stand up and deliver.
Joydeep, your prediction?
Yeah, I think it's going to be an easier India win. I'll go a step further. I think this India team is too strong. I think they've reached, just knowing that the women's WPL is happening and everything else, they're in a very good mental space. And I agree with Boria absolutely that a lot of the times your skill set is ingrained in you. It's not that you can turn it on and turn it off. It's always there. It's how you think that gets your skill set going. And mentally, they have to be switched on. But I feel India will pull this through easily.
So basically, it's all India. So what happens if India wins? What is our dinner?
Okay, so we'll try and get Joydeep's flight, so we'll plan that. But Shubhayan wants to add himself again on the show.
Shubhayan, we are finishing the show.
Shubhayan, please go and watch the game. Now disappear from here. Go and watch
And make sure India wins.
Make sure India wins, because provided India wins, you do whatever you want there. We will order some good food here.
And set the
we'll
record straight. Set the record straight, Shubhayan.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because if he's not, then tomorrow he's coming back home. We will make sure that he's on the flight back, so might as well go.
Oh, this is a big claim that Shubhayan is going to come back home if India doesn't win today. Doesn't seem like happening, but it's an India-Pakistan game. You never know, and most importantly, in cricket, you just never know. Join us for the post show right after the match, where we will analyze the game, where the teams went right, where the teams went wrong, and do join us tomorrow for the watch along. Till then, enjoy the India-Pakistan game.